in your family, do you come from a family of boxers or fighters?
No,
or you're the only
well,
one?
my mom, she was just super tough, and that's where I get my toughness from. Then my big brother was a tough guy. He's the one that toughened me up to prepare me for the fight. Just relatives and my family members just being able to fight. But no, I'm the only one who was crazy enough to box. I had a cousin named Mickey Bakes. Let me take that back. He could have been a legendary fighter as well, but he ended up passing away from a sickness. And he was a great fighter. I mean, he was outstanding amateur. He's one of the greatest amateurs to come out of the city of Iowa, as well as me. He's a Hall of Famer, and he was a super fantastic fighter, and it just hurt me that he passed away, because I'd have loved to see him with guys like Michael Carbajal and Benito Lopez and guys like that, because he reminded me so much of these legendary champions. And just if he could have lived and had an opportunity to fight, he could have tested his skills against them, because super fast and hit, man. This guy weighed like about 125 pounds, but he hit like a middleweight. Yeah. He reminds me of the young kid, what's his name, Inoue, the Japanese monster. Yeah. I mean, he's the Bruce Lee of boxing, man. I mean, my cousin was the same way. I seen him win a state wrestling championship one day, and then later on that night, come win the Golden Glove state title with boxing. He was a fantastic athlete, and I just wish he could have lived and, got an opportunity to be able to, not just fight these guys, but beat them, because he had the skills to do it. Because I mean, he was just like me. I mean, we come from humble beginnings in Iowa, and guys will sleep on us. They're like, well, that guy from Iowa, we ain't worried about this guy. They worried about the guys from New York City, Philadelphia, Detroit, Baltimore, and all that. No, this guys from Iowa can fight. It's not where you're from; it's where you at. And I think that was probably my greatest joy, is being from the state of Iowa, and people that kind of like not recognize the thing and like, well, this guy, he's from Iowa, he's nothing to worry about. Then he kind of went to sleep on me. But when I started fighting these guys and knocking them out, they all started running from me. So, it ain't where you're from, it's where you at. But even today, I want to see the best fight the best, what I'm saying? Because in our era, we come from the Ali era. Seeing all those legendary guys fight, I would never fight a guy or say I want to fight a guy, and when it's time to sign a contract, not fighting. Yeah. That ain't how it go. My thing is, the best supposed to fight the best, because it's so easy today is to go around and say, well, I'm the best. Well, I'm old school.
Yeah. Well, about that, now things have changed.
The game, and I sit back and it really baffles me, because as a young kid growing up, when I used to see Muhammad Ali and them on television, and I'm like, well, he's talking a lot, but guess what? He's bagging it up. And then plus, look at all of his opposition. The George Foreman, the Kenny Norton, the Joe Frazier. Look at all the tough guys he fought back to back to back. You just couldn't say, I'm the champion of the world, throw your hands up. Today, it's easy to say you're the champion of the world and not have to prove it. And I'm like, that's not boxing. Yeah. And I'm an old school guy, and I just want to see the best fight the best, and proving inside the fourth corner, because you can be at the press conference, you be downtown LA on the microphone saying you're the best, but you ain't proving nothing. You only prove it by getting in the ring and fight. So that's what I like to see happen in boxing. I like to see the promoters, the managers, and everybody just come together and let the best fight the best, and let who wins the fight in the ring determine it. Because you in New York City saying you're the best, I'm in California saying I'm the best. Yeah. That don't mean nothing. It's just two guys talking. Bunch of hogwash. Yep. Fights are one inside the ring, and like I said, I'm old school, and the only way to prove it is put these guys inside the ring. Yeah. But I'm thinking 2022 is going to be a great year for boxing, because I think guys really want to fight now, because the pressure's on the fighters now. Exactly. And it's only righteous to do, because when I fought, I always just want to fight the best opposition. I don't want to, if I'm going to fight this guy and don't fight that guy, I want to fight the best guys. And, I don't want to not fight the best, because in my era, I think I fought the best guys. Yeah. And, by me not beating the best guys, how can I claim myself to be a Hall of Fame fighter or a great fighter when I didn't execute it in the ring? And that's what fights are won inside the ring. So I want to definitely see these champions come together and unite and fight each other.
Yeah. Well, that's on the administration part of the sport. What about, in the gym? Do you think boxing was better before?
I think so, because like now, it's been a long time since I don't really go to gyms like I used to, but I'm ready to start going back to Chingu's boxing gym and working out a little bit, checking the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm kind of like just catching up with life. You know what I'm saying? Been gone as long as I was gone, 16 years, 6 months, and now I got my freedom, so I want to kind of like just move around and enjoy myself. But I want to go to the gyms and check things out. I went to Robert Garcia's gym a few months ago, and I like what I seen over there. I seen some dedicated young fighters working hard and doing what they're supposed to do. I went to Freddie Roach's gym and talked to Freddie and Steve, and they got a good classic gymnasium. And also Joe Goosen's gym. Then Henry Tillman, he had a gym out in the valley. Him and Buddy McGirt and James 20, they was all out there. They got, all the gyms I've been to are great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just want to see good young fighters come in there, man, and condition themselves and do the right things. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell all young fighters, there's no gas station around the boxing rings. So if you're gonna get on television and fight, you don't just want to be in condition. You don't be prepared, man, because don't nobody want to get beat up on national TV.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with losing because somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, but be held accountable for whatever you do. And getting that boxing ring is a very dangerous sport. You get in there, and if you don't do the right things, you can potentially not come out. And I don't want to see no fighter get hurt. I don't care who he is and where he's from. I don't care who he is. No fighter. And when you get in that ring, just always know that there's no place to get or no place to be out of condition.
Yeah.
And you get in there, prepare yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, and be prepared for whatever, because it only takes one punch, Jose. And I thank God, now that I'm older and I look back, like I'm glad that I had very stoic people, trainers and managers. Hey man, you got to train, you got to do this, you want to be a world champion. You just can't sit around hanging out at the bar, the nightclubs, and talking about you a great fighter and not putting the work in.
Yeah.
And that's the joy now, is being able to look back and resonate and say, well, man, I'm very thankful for my trainers, my managers, and people of that nature to motivate me, especially my family, because it's easy for a young guy to think, well, I won this fight. You think all fights are going to be the same. No, it's not going to be like that, Jose. You got to understand, because the more you rise up in the ranks, the better your opposition gets. Because I won my first 10 fights straight. I mean, and I took off like a wild horse at a barn fight. You know what I'm saying? Thinking like, well, okay, you got 8, 10 fights, you got all these knockouts. Then one of these times you're gonna fight a guy that can take these punches. So now what happens? Now you got to change your focus and your mindset and say, okay, well, you got to have condition with you. Then you don't worry about it. It's when you get in the ring unprepared. And I'm just thankful to have good professional people. My manager, Dan Goosen and Joe Goosen, then a band of family members and friends give me the support, to encourage me, and to give me the motivation I needed to want to be a world champion. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, but today there's like new technologies that back in your days it was.
We had to work, man. I mean, wasn't no technology back in our day. The only technology was get your butt to that gym, get up at 5 o'clock, do your road work, be in the gym in the afternoon, and bust your butt. But see, now it's a little bit easier to me, because back in my day, we had to bust our butts. Not saying these guys are not busting their butt today, because when you prepare for a fight, you got to be ready mentally, physically, and spiritually. But now they got all this high-tech stuff. It makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I came through there. I come through because, like I said, guys like Ali, Sugar Ray Hearns, Carlos Monzon, the great Salvador Sanchez, Carlos Zarate, Alfonso Zamora, all these legendary champions. It was just going to the gym and working. And we didn't have all this high-tech technology. Not saying you can't get in condition using it, but I'm just glad that I learned from the best. They're the best, and their thing was go to the gym and put your work in, because if you want a great performance, the only way you get it is you go to the gym and get it, because there's no way in the world that you're going to go to Caesar's Palace or Madison Square Garden or the Crypto Dot Center here in LA and put on no fantastic show when you don't have condition. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you ain't put no work in, guess what, man? You got to be uncomfortable to be comfortable, and you got to train. And I mean, this new technology has kind of like changed the format of the game, But my thing is just get in shape. If that's the way you want to get in shape, if it works, I mean, do your thing. But I'm old school. We got to go to the mountaintop, man. Let's go up in the mountain 6,000 feet above sea level and go to work every day, 6 days a week. I went Monday through Saturday. Only day I had off was Sunday. And boy, I was glad to see Sunday, man. I would pray hard on Sunday and be ready for Monday. But like I said, it's different now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 25, 30 years later with all the high-tech stuff. But my thing is the fighters, hey, man, get in shape. And I'm just old school, and I like our philosophy.
Zárate and Olivares used to say, well, we used to get in the gym, just heavy bag, sparring, the mitts.
Right, a little jump rope, and exercise table. And that's right.
Today,
you got all this stuff.
Conditioning and nutritionist and
you got everything. It's done changed. A lot of weights.
A lot, things.
But sports done changed in the past 25, 30 years, no doubt.
And do you think these new things have made stronger fighters? I mean,
to a degree, but I'm gonna still stick to the old way of training. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about that old-fashioned way always got me ready. So I mean, not knocking the new wave, but like I said, the old school way always got me prepared, doing the old way.
Yeah.
Not taking nothing away from these young guys that are doing all this new stuff with the high tech stuff, you know what I'm saying? But, what was proven and tested was the way we always fought. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of guys, they help some fighters. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. But, I just want to go in and get it the old fashioned way. That's my philosophy.
Yeah. But boxing is a big sacrifice, isn't it?
That's a great sacrifice. And, I think back and say, wow, you always think, well, it's cool. You're up in training camp on a Friday night. You're hanging out with your buddies, maybe having a couple of beers, hanging out with the girls, out on the beach or at the party. But my trainer used to always tell me, he said, man, sacrifice now. It'll be greater later. So when you go fight in front of millions of people throughout the world and you win, and they put that belt around your waist, that's a sacrifice. And I'm glad I done it, because it was hard. There was many nights I lay up and everything, like, I could be hanging out with my buddies or eating some pizza or drinking some Diet Pepsis or whatever the hell it was. But I'm glad that I chose, and I'm glad I had a good, strong team to help motivate me because, being young and stuff, you think you got all the answers, but no. It was good that you had a good management team to help lead, teach, and guide and direct you. Mm-hmm. And one thing about Joe Goosen, we got to training camp, he was always business, man. And, people look at me and say, well, no, it ain't just me, it was the whole team, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to contribute, to my fans, my family, and to my boxing team. I don't ever want to take all the glory or the praise because it took a lot of people, my mother, my kids, my girlfriend, people in my neighborhood, people to motivate me, my friends and stuff, my family, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. My brothers, my sisters, you know what I'm saying? And, really wanting to win for my mother. That was all the motivation I needed. That's my greatest motivation. And I'm thankful for the supportive cast that I had. Yeah. And like I said, I don't never take all the credit for myself. So I give credit to the people that, helped guide me, even the older guys that watched me grow up and seen that I had a lot of talent and told me, hey, man, stick to the gym. We don't want to see you get in trouble and, jack your career off. Do what you got to do. It'll pay off. You do what you're supposed to do now, and you'll be able to live and be able to have a good life and be well known, not just in the country, but throughout the world. Yeah. And I'm just glad that you had the tutelage to guide me because, you're young, full of energy, you think you know everything, you know what I'm saying? But until you bump your head, and now you wake up. But I'm glad to have the advisors that I had, and I've been blessed.
Yeah. And what has boxing given you?
Man, boxing has given me a lot of determination. It gave me a lot of understanding, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, and I'm known all over the world. And when people mention my name, they'll be able to say, well, we remember this guy. He was a tough guy. He was a good fighter. And then I come from a real small community, so that makes it even better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When a lot of guys overlook me from being from Iowa, it's kind of underestimated me. So that was to my advantage. They thinking I couldn't fight because I was from Iowa. But boxing been good to me, man. I mean, today at 50-something years old, I'm doing interviews. I'm being able to generate money and do things of that nature. And I'm going to be doing some commentating in the future. And who knows?
That's great.
I mean, it just makes me feel good to be in a position that I am and got my facilities and my faculties and things of that nature. And that's the greatest joy because, boxing is a rough sport. And that's why I tell all the young fighters that I talk to now, I can hang out with a guy for 30 minutes and see if he's for real or not, just by the conversation. Yeah. Because it's easy to say, I want to be champion, But you got to understand, you got to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? You just can't talk your way up the ladder to the championship. You got to fight your way up. Yeah. Even with this new wave media, where guys can get in front of a camera and say I'm the best and not prove it. But hey, you got to prove it, man, when you get in the ring and fight a champion because you just don't go to Walmart and get no championship belts off the shelves. I mean, I wish you could. Maybe I would have bought me 3 or 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have to earn them. But the greatest part is when you become a champion, you're forever known as a champion. And I mean, that is a blessing, and I'm very thankful for that. No matter where you go and however long you be on God's earth, you will forever be known as a champion because once you accomplish that great feat, there's nothing better. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like being in a championship fight. And as a young kid growing up, watching Sugar Ray, Ali, Larry Holmes, Carlos Monzon, Carlos Zarate, then Lil Red Lopez, and all these great legendary fighters, Salvador Sanchez. I sat there and tell my mom, I'm going to buy you a house and I'm gonna be on TV. They be at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. I said, Mom, and you know your mom, she's my greatest inspirator. She's like, yeah, son, you gonna do that. That's right. Keep on believing in yourself, son. I'm a young kid in the middle of the Midwest. Don't know, there's never been a world boxing champion. Why all of a sudden this kid gonna become a world boxing champion? It was just the mindset that I had and the talent that I had. And man, I'm so forever thankful for God for instilling me with the talent. But you know, I think back to those days when I told my mom, I'm gonna be on TV. And my mom said, yes, son, you right. Yeah, I mean, my mom had a heart big as the city, right? For her to feel that way about her son, but what mother wouldn't feel that way about her son? I mean, she was my leader, teacher, guide, my motivator, and everything, and my greatest inspiration. So, I mean, when I told her that, then when I finally got ready to fight for the world championship, I'm in Caesar's Palace, and I'm like 25 years old now. I told Mom, you remember I said, son, I knew you was gonna do it, and then I said, no. I said I got one more hurdle, Mom. I got to go out there and beat the champion tonight. I'm here. I said, we're at Caesar's Palace. I got the opportunity. The world's getting ready to see me. And hey, the greatest joy is me doing it for my mama. The world's going to see me, but, you know, that's my greatest inspiration, doing it for my mom.
Yeah.
After all the hard work, dedication, sacrifice that she made for me and my brothers and sisters and my nieces and nephews and family members and friends to go win this world championship for my mother. So that was my greatest joy right there, Jose, is like, you know, talking about it like 15 years before and then doing it. And then for my mother to be able to witness that. Wow, that was fantastic, man.
Yeah.
That's my greatest joy.
Yeah.
And putting that world championship belt in her hand, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, son, you said you were going to do it. I said, Mom, you inspired me. You know, thank you for your love, your motivation, and all the teachings that you gave me over the years. And, you know, teach me how to be a man and to be strong and to be resilient. And don't let nobody tell you what you can't do, because along the way, man, I had so many naysayers, man. Hey, what's going to happen when you fight this guy from Detroit? What's going to happen when you fight this guy from Philadelphia? I'm going to win. That's what's going to happen. Because I'm glad I always had the mindset to believe that I could do it, and then having a good supporting cast of team unity with not just my family, my friends, my trainers, my managers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as much as boxing gives, what has it taken from you? Has it taken anything from you? Boxing?
You know what? I can't say that boxing give me more than it's taken. I mean, I can't say it's taken nothing from me, because, you know, I didn't do it a lot, you know, throughout my boxing career. I mean, as far as, you know, getting up, doing the work and doing that stuff. I mean, it's given me more than it's ever taken, you know. I mean, I'm very thankful for my health, and, you know, that's first and foremost. But, you know, boxing's given me a lot, man. I mean, you know, I'm known all over the world because of boxing, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think there's nothing else I could have done to give me as much admiration and attention that boxing has given me. So I mean, I've been very fortunate.
Yeah, because a lot of people said that, you know, they take you away from the family because training camps.
But you got to understand, that's all part of the business. You got to understand, if you got a job, if you're a college football coach or a professional football coach or whatever, or you're a successful CEO at a major corporation in America, there's times you got to leave and go work. But let's talk about the good times. You know, I mean, you gotta match them up. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be good and bad. Sacrifices got to be made no matter what you do. You got a family to support. You want to take care of your loved one. So guess what? Let's talk about the good. It's not all negative, because there's some positivity in that. Positive stuff that transpired, because, look, boxing was good to me, and I got no complaints.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to take care of my mother, my children, my brothers, sisters, family, friend members, whoever, you know what I'm saying? Even myself. And, you know, I mean, you got to understand, Jose, sacrifices must be made. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit around and, I wish to be champion of the world. You know, praying is a beautiful thing. There's nothing greater than prayer. Prayer is beautiful, but you got to put some work with the prayer, and then you get your flowers. You know what I'm saying? You just can't sit around like, oh man, I want to be champion. No, you got to go out there and get uncomfortable, man. And guess what? For you to get uncomfortable, guess what? When you do your job, you'll be able to be comfortable in the long run. And I mean, like I said, there's many nights that I wish I could have been in certain places, hanging out, eating a steak and lobster, hanging out with the guys or whatever. But I'm glad I was in training camp, because by me making that sacrifice, look at me today. It made me who I am. It helped grow me as a man, groom me and everything. So there's no complaints. I mean, you know, especially for guys that have, you know, reached a certain height. You know, I mean, we can't complain. Yeah, sacrifices got to be made. That's part of life. And like I was saying, if you're a CEO of Pepsi-Cola or Microsoft, whatever, there's times you got to leave the family to go do what you got to do to help, you know, better the betterment of the company to make it better or bigger or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you got to work. It beats sitting around doing nothing, man, because don't nothing come to a sleeper but a dream.
Yeah.
You know, and boxing's been good to me, man. It gave me an opportunity to not just travel the world, but go to places I never would have had the opportunity to go, and to meet a lot of people from different parts of the world. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to learn different cultures. I mean, hey, I got a chance to go to your country, Mexico City. I had never been to Mexico, and without boxing, guess what? I would have never went to Paris, France, Berlin, Germany.
Yeah.
You know, Quito, Ecuador. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, so boxing's been good. You know.
Yeah.
We can't just talk about the bad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the good.
Yeah. And talk about Mexico. You were telling me about the Azteca Stadium.
Oh,
How did
great.
you feel?
Man, it's kind of weird because when they called me and said they wanted me to fight, what Don King was doing, he was doing like 4 or 5 championship fights, and I had just fought, right? So I'm at home relaxing, right? And they said, hey, Brenda Page, she called me, that was Don's secretary at the time. She called me, she said, hey, Mike, Don wants you to fight. Don want me to fight? What, Don forgot I just fought like 3 weeks ago? And she said, well, he's doing this championship fight. It's going to be a big fight in Mexico, you know. And I said, well, what the hell, man? I wasn't really doing that. I'd already done some of the things that I wanted to do. I've been home 3 weeks. I said, hey, what the hell? Let me get in the gym and work a little bit and get prepared. Then I'm getting an opportunity to fight in Mexico City at a second stadium with the legendary Julio Cesar Chavez and a few other great champions. And it was like 4 championships fight that night, if I'm correct. And it was a massive crowd. So I knew it was going to be big, but it was 3 times as big as that I thought it was going to be. Because when I get to the fight and, you know, do my thing, weigh in and everything, get ready, and I come out of the stadium to the arena, and I'm thinking there's only going to be like 20,000 people. Man, I come out, it's 120-something thousand people in the arena. It was maybe one of the largest boxing crowds in the history of boxing
It is.
at the time. So when I come out, I had to like readjust my thinking, like, oh shit, you know, because I wasn't thinking it was gonna be that many people. It was like people hanging over the rafters, right? And they had the military, the Mexican police, and the military. They like both sides of the ring. They had us like guarded off so they couldn't touch us or whatever as we go to the ring. And it was nice, man. It was sensational. And then for me to get in the ring and then get a first round knockout and to be able to do it in such a massive crowd and to do it on that magnitude was real good. And I got a chance to watch Julio Cesar Chavez beat Greg Haugen for the main event of the night, so it was great. But being at Azteca Stadium was probably one of the most exciting nights as far as the crowd, because I'd never seen a crowd like that before. And like I said, when I come out the dressing room, Jose, I'm thinking it's only gonna be 15,000 people, right?
Yeah.
It was 110,000 people.
100,
The place, I mean, it's hanging off. Look here, they're hanging off the rafters at the Azteca Arena.
Yeah.
And that's the world famous Burro Stadium over in Mexico.
20,000 people outside that couldn't get in.
Man, that's amazing, man.
135 inside.
Wow, no, 100. It was over 100-some thousand people, but it was just a massive crowd. I wasn't anticipating seeing that many people, right? Because when I come out the dressing room, I go out there and I look up. I'm like, what the heck? And my mind got to working. I got to go out there. And I got to, I'm already ready, but I got to be extra ready. You know what I'm saying? You're in front of that many people, and then you got millions from throughout the world watching. It was just a real exciting night.
Yeah.
I want to say February 19th, 1993, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
It was a sensational night, a great night. But, performing in front of that crowd, man, was great. But, all my years of boxing helped prepare me for that moment, you know what I'm saying? From the time I was a silver gloves fighter all the way up into my professional ranks. So it got me ready for it. So.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean? What do you miss about boxing, about being in the ring?
Just being able to showcase my talents, because I was just always slick, sharp fighter, and just, that's about it. Because, you don't never glorify getting hit. So, I never got hit a lot. But, something about the crowd, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing greater, performing in front of a live crowd, whether it's 100 people or 10,000 people, whatever it is. It's just, you executing your skills, you showing that you're the best, trying to prove that you're the best, and just doing your thing. No matter how old you get, you're always gonna love that. Yeah.
As a fighter, do you think that there's gonna be the one last day of boxing, and do you think what's gonna happen after you get down from the ring?
Oh well, yeah, you gotta always prepare for the moment, because you gotta understand boxing is a short-lived sport. When you box, and I had a long career. I had 6-7 professional fights and fought in major championship fights and all over the world. So you know, it's a short-term thing. I mean, it ain't like, you know, you working at like a tire company or something, you know, because, you know, boxing's so relentless, so tough, and so physical. You know, the body's only designed to take too much. And like I say, you know, you don't want to be the punching bag. I mean, you know, nobody's designed to get hit upside the head. I don't care who you are, how tough you are, but it's only short-lived, short-term, and the best thing to do is put yourself in a position to be able to do something else when you get done boxing. Because, I mean, I'm thinking we're able to box as long as I box. But I'm glad that, you know, I can venture off and be able to, you know, do something else. I can, you know, graduate to another level and do something.
Yeah.
You know, to continue to make money and to still be in the public's eye. Because boxing is a short-lived sport, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very short-lived. And I'm just thankful for, you know, the blessings that I have and the things I've been given. You know, boxing's been good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is boxing a lonely sport?
Very lonely, very lonely, very lonely, very lonely. And I notice when I'm looking at the Facebook, I see that all the time where guys be saying how lonely it is. And I resonate back to the days when I be up in training camp and I be laying in the bed like, well, saying to myself, I could be eating some pizza, I could be drinking a cold beer or having a Coke and a smile or something, or with your girlfriend or hanging out with the guys. So, you know, but you got to prepare and get your mind right and be prepared, because you go in that ring playing, you know what's going to happen. You're going to get your ass handed to you in a paper bag in front of the world. And that was always my thing. You know, there's nothing wrong with losing, it's how you lose. And, you know, anytime that you're a professional, you're supposed to always be professional. And I'm not saying you never lose, but you prepare for it, so you try to take that out of the equation of you losing. By you being in shape, you got a better chance of winning. Instead of just going out there just, you know, thinking because I can do this, I can do that, I'm going to beat this guy. No, you got to go out there, you got to work, you got to earn that victory, because you're not going to be given nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you got to earn that win, man. Very lonely sport. And then no matter what, you know what I'm saying, when you get in the ring, you say your prayers, and you got your family, your friends, and people cheering for you, but at the end of the day, it's just you and that man, and
Exactly.
you know,
That's what
you
I
and
was
your
about to
opposition.
say.
So it's very lonely, you know what I'm saying?
The bell rings.
Well, hey,
I
you got to figure it out.
You
Hey,
got your corner. You
yeah,
got
I mean,
everybody.
it's great to have all those people, but you got to go out there and figure it out, because your corner's not going to stop that guy from hitting you upside the head. Your cornerman is not going to say in between rounds, "Hey, you know, you took a beating this round. I'm gonna substitute for you. You just tag off." You know what I'm saying? No, you got to stand 10 toes down and be prepared to be able to fight, whether it's 1 round, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever it is, to get the victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very lonely sport, though. Very lonely sport. And that's amazing how when you're preparing for a fight and you're going through all the trials, tribulations, and, you know, getting yourself mentally, physically, spiritually prepared, and you got nobody with you really. And then at the end of the fight, you know, everybody want to be your friend and all that stuff. And they just never know how hard you prepared to see this, because they see you fight and they think, well, it's an easy fight. Ain't no fight easy.
Yeah.
The preparation, you figure I'd be in camp sometimes 6-7 weeks. That's a long time to be away from your family, your kids, your old lady, good food, you know, hanging out late, staying up late, and, you know, watching movies, going to the movies or whatever. You know, I mean, you're in a training camp. I mean, you're secluded up in the mountains, you're away from everything. You gotta get your rest. You know, you must do that, because without the rest, you're not gonna be able to fight. Because if you're not living right, training right, and doing what you're supposed to do, you know, it'll show up come fight night. So it's a very lonely sport. And there's many nights that I lay up there and be thinking like, wow. But after fight night, you lay there too and say, well, I got a whole lot of money in my pocket. I'm crowned world champion, and everybody all over the world see me. So the sacrifice has got to be made, and that's the greatest joy about it, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sacrifice has got to be made, because without the sacrifice, you can't reap the rewards of being called a champion. You know,
Yeah.
and, you know, like I said, Jose, that is, you know, my greatest honor is when I go places to be called world champion. I mean, to be recognized and known. I mean, hey, for the work that you put in, there was nothing given. I mean, it was all earned. And, you know, that's the greatest joy, because, you know, I don't care. If you're a world champion, you be 90 years old, you still living. If I see you, hey, champ, how you doing? My good dear friend, Epa Joffrey, he's probably the oldest world champion that I know that's living today, that I know personally, that somebody ain't called my personal friend. I love Mr. Joffrey. I just had the opportunity to meet Mr. Joffrey last October. Him, his son, Marcel, and his daughter, Andrea, they come over to get. He got inducted to the Boxing Hall of Fame, the West Coast Boxing Hall of Fame, and I got a chance to meet him. A phenomenal guy. I'm looking forward to seeing him again.
Did he shadow box?
Oh, did he shadow box? He didn't only shadow box me. He shadow boxed me and the legendary Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, Sugar Ray invited us to his house, and he went over there and he shadow boxed Sugar. He shadow boxed me. So, you know, he's 80-something years old, man, and it was real fantastic, man.
That's
so
amazing.
He's 80-something years old, and I mean, still full of life and full of just energy, and man, he's tough as nails, man. So that's honorary. He's the oldest champion I know that's living. You know what I mean? I want to say he's 80-something years old. I don't think I know anybody as a friend or person to person. I think he's the oldest living champion that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your happiest memory in boxing, in your boxing
You
career?
know, I got so many. But I must say, probably knocking Frank Tate out to become the world middleweight champion, because, you know, we fought 3 times. We beat twice, and I beat him once. And he went to the Olympic gold medal in 1984, and he won the Olympic gold medal. And they asked me to move up to 165, and I lost in the finals. I was alternate on the 1984 Olympic boxing team, and he went on here in Los Angeles to win the Olympic gold medal. And so I just figured I had to get even. You know what I'm saying? He was up 2-1 over me. So we fought July 28, 1988 in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. I said I get a chance to straighten it out. He got my Olympic gold medal. Now I'm going to take his world IBF middleweight championship. So that was probably one of my greatest feats. But, you know, knocking this guy out by the name of Sabu Kalabe was another great feat, because he was the middleweight champion. He was the WBA champion. I was the IBF champion. We was doing a unification fight, and they was giving us both $1 million apiece for the fight, right? And it was for a unification. But unfortunately, when the bell rung and we started fighting, they stripped him of the title, which was crazy, because I knocked him out in 88 seconds of the first round, and one of the greatest one-punch knockouts that I've seen in my lifetime. But it's up there with, you know, being a one-punch knockout. I mean, it's a very unique punch. They hit a great world champion one time and knock him out cold is phenomenal. So that's got to be, those are probably my 2 tops. But, you know, boxing's been so good, man. I had so many great memories, man. But those would probably be probably the crowning achievements, because they were so spectacular. Winning the world champion and then fighting the unification fight. But unfortunately, I wasn't given the WBA belt, but I was compensated other ways, which was great. But it was a blessing, because we were the 2 best middleweights in the world. I was IBF champion, he was WBA champion. And, you know, Sugar Ray and them was still kind of like doing their thing. They had like little circuits going on between Sugar Ray, Hearns, and Hagler and Duran. And they didn't want me to be a part of the thing. I'm trying to get in the mix and get into the super club with these guys, right? But, you know, I fought and beat the best guys in my era, so I'm happy. And you know, I talk to Sugar Ray and Hearns all the time, you know. And the legendary Marvin Hagler, let him rest in peace. And then even Mr. Roberto Duran, I would have loved to test my skills with all those great men, but unfortunately it never transpired. But, you know, I beat the best guys in my era, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and as much as they are good memories, do you have any bad memories or bad happenings or something that you regret or something?
No, not really, because, you know, the good outweighs the bad. And like I say, there's nothing perfect in life. There's nothing perfect but Jesus. So no, I mean, I've had more positive experiences than negatives, and I try to just be uplifted and more on the positive side and think of the good things more so than the bad. Some bad things have happened, but, you know, through the grace of God, I was able to overcome them and, you know, keep it moving and build myself back up. You know, losing to James Toney, it really hurt my heart. But, you know, I got nothing but kudos for James Toney. He's a dear friend of mine, you know, winning the fight, but unfortunately he won the war. But, you know, you can get mad and all that, but it means nothing. You got to get over that stuff. I'm just thankful to be able to get beaten, then come back and win championships again. That was my greatest joy, because getting knocked down is hard, but getting up is even harder. So when you overcome that type of thing, it just lets you know that with preparation and, you know, God being on your side, anything can be done, and having a good, strong, you know, contingency of people with you to uplift you and to motivate you and to inspire you to just go harder. And you learn so much from your losses. But I must say that there's been so many good experiences that they outweigh the bad, you know. I mean, no doubt. There's so many great memories, man. I mean, you know, I'm very fortunate to have 62 professional fights, and I think win 58 of them, lose 4 times, have 39 knockouts, be inducted to the great West Coast Boxing Hall of Fame. I'm waiting to be inducted to the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and I mean, hey, I got no complaints. I got more joys than sorrows from boxing.
Yeah. And how is life today?
Our life is good. It's gonna get better, man. You know, after being gone on a little vacation I took for 16 years, 6 months. You know, just working my way back, and you know, I'm real positive. I'm doing something positive every day. I'm just working and getting better, getting bigger, and a lot of things are starting to happen for me. And just being positive and you know, being 10 toes down. That's the motto that I use. You know what I'm saying? Just being focused, just being dedicated to my craft, and watching good things transpire, and you know, getting to be around people like yourself and your brother Mauricio Suleiman, and yourself, Jose Suleiman, and Mr. Legendary Fighter, Father Mr. Jose Suleiman. So hey, you know, I mean, good things are happening, man, and I've been truly blessed.
Yeah.
And you know, got a good contingency of family, friends, and associates, and you know, working our way back, you know, coming strong, man. You know, fighters, we don't quit, man. We just keep it moving, man. We go hard, you know what I'm saying? We plant our feet and we keep moving forward.
That's
and
it.
staying positive. And I'm always optimistic, you know, never pessimistic, always positive. You know, always positive. No matter what I go through, I get stronger. And you know, I think that helps being a world champion, to know all the things we had to endure. You know, just know how to just come back and be resilient and be relentless and just keep moving forward, man. Just keep that drive, you know what I'm saying? You know, not quitting, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's good to have that good champion's mindset, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm older now. I'm not 25 years old now. You know, I'm 25 plus, saying, so it makes it a little bit easier to be able to just resonate and be able to think back and know that what I had to go through to get to where I'm at. It makes me bigger and better and stronger.
Yeah. Did you accomplish the dream you had as a kid when
You know
when
what?
you start?
I think I superseded it, to be honest, because I always want to be a champion.
Yeah.
And for me to be able to do it multiple times in 3 different weight classes, and you know, I think I kind of exceeded it. The only thing I kind of regretted, if I only had a regret in boxing, was not getting the opportunity to fight the legendary guys. Because like I said, in my era, I beat the best guys in my division, and the only guys I never fought was Duran, Sugar Ray, Hagler, and Hearns. But they were older fighters, and Bob Irwin had their little, you know, 4-ring circus going on, which was cool. I mean, I love all them guys, and I mean, other than that, there's really no regret, because I just want to test my skills with the legendary Thomas Hearns, legendary Sugar Ray, and legendary Duran. I never wanted to fight Marvin Hagler. The reason why I never wanted to fight Marvin Hagler, because when I was a young fighter coming up, I used to train with Marvin. I mean, we'd be at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas back in the 80s, and back when they had the Sands Hotel was right across from Caesar's Palace, and they used to let Marvin Hagler run on the golf course. So I'd run with Marvin in the morning, right? And Marvin was a serious guy that I probably ever met in boxing. He like, hey, you're gonna be here to a quarter to 6 in the morning. You be here, you know. If you're not there, he ain't gonna talk to you, right? And so I'd be out there at 5:30, because once that van picks you up to take you across the street to the golf course to go run, if you ain't there, man, you see him later on in the gym and be like, hey, Marvin, what's happening? He ain't gonna talk to you, right? So I wanted Marvin to talk to me. Plus, he was a world champion, and he was showing me how to be a world champion by the things he was doing, the way he was living. And he said, that's what I like about you, youngster. You don't just talk about it, you be here. You know, because I would be there, you know, at 5:30. I beat him there just to show him that I was for real, because I'm a young fighter, probably 10, 12 and 0, and I want to be a world champion, and I'm getting the opportunity to be around such a legendary fighter, and I can learn things. And, you know, he's seen my work ethic, and he's like, hey, you keep doing this, man, you're going to be all right, you know what I'm saying? And after we get done running, we go shower up, and then I would eat with him and the Petronelli brothers, you know. So that's honorary for me to be with the world middleweight champion, and, you know, he's giving me a little advice and stuff. So as he got older and I worked my way up the ranks, I never wanted to say, well, I want to fight Marvin Hagler. So
Do you envision yourself like a coach, a manager,
you know
or
what? Believe it or not, you know,
trainer?
yeah, because you know,
Making a champion.
well, no doubt about it. Well, see, that's one thing about it. You know, being a champion, that's your mindset, is to make another champion. Because, and when I find a young guy that's serious enough, because I talk to guys all the time, but you know, you got to show me better than just tell me, because it's always easy to say, well, you want to be a champion, but you got to prove it, man. You got to be, you know, you got to be uncomfortable being comfortable. You know, you got to really want to do it. And if I go see a fighter, if he's serious, I'll share some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with him, because I don't want to be chasing no guy down and make him go to the gym. Because one thing about me, Joe Goosen never one time had to come beat up my door 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, because you know, when they was at that door in that morning to get you, you got to be up with your boots on and ready to go. And see, you got to have that mindset for yourself, because you can't be at home or up all night, hanging out all night, and then 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, got people tearing your door down to get you to wake up. No, man, you got to get your ass up, get to that gym, or get to that park and run, whether it's in the mountains or the park or wherever. You got to get there, man. And when I can find a guy that's serious like that, I'll definitely instill my wisdom into him. You know, or if it's a young fighter that needs some advice or some tutelage, I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him raw and uncut. I'm not gonna play with no fighter. When in the gym working, I'm gonna be serious with that fighter because I don't want to see the kid get hurt. I don't care if he's 5-0 or 50-0. I don't want to see no fighter get hurt. Yeah. And that's no male, no female. I don't care who they are, where they from. Hey, you get in the ring. I tell anybody, be prepared, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Boxing is a rough sport. You can get hurt boxing. They don't play boxing. Yeah. They play basketball. They play tennis. They play football. They don't play boxing. And I tell anybody, because, you know, me being in Los Angeles, you know, when you go to the gym, you see little fighters or whatever, if they want my tutelage, I'll give it to them, but I'm going to be serious with them. And when I talk to them, I'm going to be honest with them. I'm not going to jive. I'm not going to bullshit. I'm not going to sell them no dream because I don't want to see no fighter get hurt. There's no male, no female. Mm-hmm. I want to see you prosper. And the best way for you to prosper is get yourself in the best condition to be prepared because boxing is serious. Yeah. Listen, and I'm now that I'm older, I look back, I said, damn, I used to box, really? I had to be crazy, you know what I'm saying? But not in a good way. You know, you got to love the great sport of boxing to do it because it's not easy. It's a very lonely sport. Yeah. You know, in the preparation part, because you know when you go to Las Vegas or here in Los Angeles or Madison Square Garden, when you win, it's always easy for people to tell you how great you are, but they forget about the preparation. They don't see what the stuff that you got to endure to prepare for that moment. And I tell people all the time, nah, it wasn't no easy fight. All fights was hard. Win, lose, or draw, it was all hard because you got to look at the preparation. You know, the 6, 7, 8 weeks in training camp that you got to prepare. And then you go out and knock it out in the first round because you got conditioned to do that. If you would have been conditioned, you would have been able to do that. So understand one thing. Hey, it's not easy. Boxing is super hard, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Super hard. Yeah. And I'm just thankful, man, to be able to do the things I can do and still got my faculties to be able to, be able to talk about the great sport of boxing. Yeah. And that's why I want to share my wisdom and my knowledge and my understanding. And back to the young kids, I tell them, hey, man, when you ready, you call me. We're going to go to work, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're not going to play no games, man. Because I don't want to see no fighter get hurt. No fighter. No. I ain't the one.
And one last thing.
Yes, sir. Take your time.
What is your dream now? Now that you're at this stage of your life, being a former world champion, today, going forward, what is your dream today?
I just want to continue to be positive, keep my freedom, be able to take care of my family, and just enjoy my life, man. You know, I'm in the third quarter of my life, and I just want to be able to travel the world, enjoy my life, and do great things, and be happy, and just just be the best man I can possibly be. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very
Give me a
much.
copy of that. I like that.
Of course.
Yeah.